So now we've measured our cylinder, we want to choose a new cylinder. And this is where a lot of people make the mistake. They go to the nearest hardware store and they buy the cheapest lock off the shelf. Obviously, you get what you pay for, and most people are reluctant to pay a large amount of money. In fact, they'll only pay about £5 for a cheap cylinder. Well, I'm going to talk about the different forms of attack that the modern criminal has to offer to our humble door locks, and we're going to talk about how to defend ourselves against that. So starting with the most common but most brutal attack, the snapping attack. This is where a criminal will use a pair of locking pliers to grab a hold of the front of the lock. They'll wiggle it, and because most cylinders are made of brass and this metal down here is very thin, the cylinder should just break in half. They can use a screwdriver to manipulate the cam then. Here's an example of a cylinder that's been snapped. As you can see, the metal here is very thin. Now there's a number of different ways to protect yourself against snapping. One of the ways is a sacrificial line on the cylinder. Here's an example of a cylinder with a sacrificial line right here. So if somebody were to try to snap this cylinder, they'd try wiggling the front of it, and this would just break off. The front would break off, leaving the rest of the cylinder locked inside the door. It isn't all that effective, and I wouldn't rely on it completely. There is another way of preventing your cylinder from being snapped, and that is a anti-snap bar across the bottom of the cylinder. This is a hardened bar that sometimes goes either from about here to here or all the way through the cylinder, and you should be able to see it from the front. An example of two locks that have this form of protection are the Yale Superior and the I think the CISA Astral, and so that's a good way to protect yourself against snapping. But there is one step better. There's the lockdown mode, the cylinder with built-in active snap protection. This is basically a very complex system where if somebody tries to snap the front of your cylinder, the cam will be locked into place, and it's next to impossible to break into that door. Now you have to use the key from the inside of the door to open the lock. A couple of examples of locks with this form of protection are the ABS lock, the ABS Avocet Mark III, which I have featured on this channel, and the Ultian lock, which I haven't. The second form of attack, which is also quite common, is the drilling attack. This is where somebody will take a drill, they'll drill right through the front of your cylinder and use a screwdriver to turn the core and unlock your door. Even cheaper cylinders nowadays tend to have anti-drill pins. It's sad to say that these three cylinders, which are intact, do not have them as far as I know, so we're going to set those aside. And it's sad to say that the one that was snapped does have anti-drill protection. Anti-drill protection usually comes in the form of a hardened steel pin that is embedded in the lock. This basically makes it very hard for somebody to drill into your lock. As you can see here, we have these 5 or 6 plugs up here, and right at the front we have a little steel pin. Sorry, the lighting isn't working out too well, but hopefully you can see that. We can also get cylinders with 2 anti-drill pins right here and here. So that's what you should look out for, and that makes it very hard for somebody to drill your lock out. Okay, well, the third form of attack, which is more common than you think, and if you've watched my videos then you'll know that it's pretty easy, and that is picking. And picking can be done with a simple set of tools. Most cylinders can be picked within at least minutes, and so when I'm choosing a new lock, I tend to go for the newer style of dimple lock. These really baffle the burglars. because as you can see, this doesn't look at all like your standard door lock. In a normal door lock, you put your key in vertically like this. In a dimple lock, you put the key in horizontally. It's a totally different system. It still uses pins. It's still a pin tumbler system, but it's got different key, different shape, and you need special tools to pick these. These really do baffle the burglars because there aren't that many of them out there. And it's quite a modern invention, the dimple lock. These can be quite hard to pick. This one is made by Abus. Abus have a huge range of dimple locks, which I recommend checking out. I think all the other locks I recommended are also dimple locks. The Cisa Astral, the Yale Superior, the ABS, and the Ultion lock are all dimple locks. Not saying that dimple locks cannot be picked and that they are 100% secure, but they certainly offer another level of security. Alright, well, you might be thinking, surely this is going to cost me a lot of money to upgrade my security. Well, yeah, it's going to cost you more than £5, but I think the most expensive option that I listed today was between £50 and £100, just over £50 at least, and that's the ABS lock, which has really amazing anti-pick, anti-snap protection. And so, you know, if you're going to upgrade your security, you may as well go the whole way. And you know, think about the value of what you're securing as well. If you're using this on your home, then there's a chance that your family rely on this. Your possessions are all relying on this one piece of metal, and you know that's literally it, because you know these, once somebody gets through this, they can get through your entire door. So you really need to bear that in mind. You can pay hundreds, you can pay thousands for fancy door locks, and you know most of us don't want to do that, but just spending a little bit more will get you something that will last you for a while and that will keep your house safe from burglars. I'll be leaving links to some locks down in the description below. The Yale Superior cylinder, which I mentioned, this is a 1-star cylinder, so it offers good pick resistance, and it does have the anti-snap protection bar. This is probably sufficient if you live in a low crime area and you want to be just one step better than your neighbours. That cylinder will be suitable for that. And if you use it with 2-star door hardware, that will give you 3-star protection. It's a bit confusing, but you know, if you may as well go the whole way. Get a 3-star lock like the ABS lock with active snap protection, but it's totally up to you. These bigger companies often offer special systems such as one-key homes, so if you want all your locks keyed alike, that is possible. And so yeah, just spend a little bit more time, have a look around. Usually what I'll do before buying a cylinder is I'll look it up. I'll look up on YouTube and see how fast it's taking people to pick into these. Are they common cylinders, and are there other forms of attack that can get into these cylinders? Well, I hope this video was helpful. I'm sorry about the lighting. I'm recording sort of midday where the sun does strange things. But anyway, I hope this video was helpful to somebody. If you do have any extra questions, then please feel free to ask me. Just leave them down below, or also if I've left anything out, which I'm sure I probably have, also leave your suggestions and comments down below. And if you do need help choosing a cylinder for your home, then you can send me an email, hobbypicker@gmail.com, and I'm willing to offer some support and some suggest some locks that might be suitable for your home. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. If you are new to my channel, then please do have a look around. watch my other videos. I mostly do lock picking and combination lock decoding on this channel. Anyway, that's all for today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in my next video.